Good afternoon. I'm Barinthia Levine. I'm the Vice President for University Advancement and Executive Director of the CSU Foundation. It's a lot of words. That means I oversee the fundraising, the foundation, and the alumni affairs for the university. And it's my pleasure to be your MC for today. When I say pleasure, I truly mean it. This is one of my favorite CSU events because it gives us an opportunity to introduce donors who have created scholarships and the students who are receiving those scholarships. And that's very important. We've worked very hard over the years to try to make sure that we have both of you in the room. And so right now, what I would like to do is to recognize our donors. So in your Scholarship Luncheon program, you're going to see all of our endowed scholarships listed. Most of those are named scholarships, named for the donor who created them. And in the front of the book, you'll also see the new funds that we have created this year. So the donors who are in the room today are people who have created an endowed scholarship or a current scholarship, or who have contributed to Radiance, or who are representatives of businesses and foundations and other entities that have created and provided scholarship funds for our students. So I'd like for all of you donors to please stand so we can give you a round of applause. Please. You are really helping fulfill the dreams of our students. And now, we have many of those students in this room. And I would like to ask the students who are recipients of CSU scholarships to please stand up and be recognized. Please remain standing. Not so fast. And now I know that many of you brought guests. Not all of you, but many of you did. I'd like those guests to stand and be recognized as well. I think there are some of you. Don't be shy. And now we're going to give another round of applause. Now you may sit. I just want to wish you on behalf of all of us continued success as you go through CSU to graduation. If you haven't stopped by the photographer, I hope you will do that. That's just a little plug, particularly if you are here with the person who created your scholarship. Love for you to get that photo so we can send it out to you. I'd like to acknowledge some special guests in the room. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge our president, Harlan Sands. Harlan's going to be speaking with us a little bit later in the program. And we have a number of members of our Board of Trustees. I'd like to thank you for being here. I see Trustee Adler. I see some of our former trustees, our former trustee board chair, Bernie Marino and Bob Rawson, and Mort Levin, one of our former trustees. Did I miss anybody? I tried to... If you would just stand, our trustees and former trustees, I'd appreciate it, so people can see who you are. Oh, and Dick Bowen, Richard Bowen, I'm so sorry. I should have looked over this way. And I knew you were here because we talked about it earlier this week. I'm so sorry. Richard Bowen, also very instrumental for Cleveland State in helping us succeed. And I'd like to also now ask members of our foundation board who are in attendance to please stand up. And members of our visiting committees and our alumni board, if you would all stand also and be recognized. I know there are a number of you here today as well. These are volunteers who give of their time and talent and treasure to help make our university great, and we are most appreciative of the work you do. I would also like to introduce our past university president. Where are you? Michael Schwartz, please. President Emeritus Michael Schwartz and his wife, Dr. Joanne Rand Schwartz. Joanne. This is the time for thank yous. I also would like to thank and call your attention to our musicians. These are CSU students. They're a saxophone trio. The two students are Olivia Havas and John Davis, and our faculty member, Tom Lempner. Thank you for your beautiful music. And of course, a luncheon like this doesn't happen without somebody being in charge, and that somebody was John McCreary, and he worked with our advancement team and our special events team to make today possible. So John, thank you, and thanks to everyone else for your hard work. Now, you know, I'm a fundraiser. That means I like money and I like numbers, right? So I just want to say to all of you, thank you. You have made the past year very, very successful for CSU. And what that does is it translates into support for our students, because that's what it's all about. What we do, what you do, is all about our students. So this past year has been an exceptional fundraising year. We have raised over $7 million as of yesterday, much of that for student success initiatives. Radiance, which is coming up, it's our prime scholarship event. Our goal is $1.75 million, and we've raised a little over $1.6 million as of this morning. And those dollars go directly to students for helping them with their scholarship and other needs that they need to complete school and college in a timely fashion. We also had a very wonderful giving day. We had over 2,000 donors in one day. Can you imagine that? And we raised over $300,000. 3,000 would not be good. 300 is very good. I would like to, at this time, I know that there are several of you in the audience whose scholarships were fully endowed this year. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to ask you to stand. And if I miss somebody, would you please raise your hand and stand up? But these are funds that were fully endowed this year. Ed Thomas, if you're here, the Monte Ahuja College of Business Emeriti Faculty Endowed Beta Gamma Sigma Fund. That's the longest one we have. And Dr. Elizabeth Domholt, please hold your applause to everyone is up. The Marianne Domholt School of Health Sciences Graduate Scholarship Grant and a Speech and Hearing Endowment. The Fernari Family Scholarship, Dave Fernari, please stand. The Matilda Jane Gutow Endowed Fund. I know Tom Hopkins was going to be here. I didn't see Tom. He may not be back in town. The Bracy E. Lewis Scholarship. Bracy, where are you? Please stand. The Bernie Marino Sales Center Fund. Bernie, please stand. The Dr. Gregory Sadlek Class Dean's Opportunity Fund. And Rich Janis, I know you were instrumental in making that fund happen. I think you're here if you would please stand. And then we have the 6C Scholarship, Thomas Dugopolsky. I hope I pronounced your name right. And now if we can give all those folks, is there anyone else here? Thank you. Now I'd like for you all to hear from our students.
Scholarship has impacted my studies here at Cleveland State immensely. It has given me the opportunity to pursue all of my interests while here at the university.
Scholarships have been fundamental in my life. The opportunities that have been presented to me, the doors that it has opened at CSU, I wouldn't be here without them.
Without them, I probably wouldn't be able to take as many courses at CSU, and it would be at a greater price because of tuition. So I really thank the donors for making that easier on me and my family.
To have that financial burden off my shoulders, it enables me to focus on what's really important, like studying, internships, and other opportunities.
I would like to thank the donors that have given me scholarships because it's given me hope and inspiration to keep going.
I want to thank you for your generosity. It's made a big impact on my life, and I wouldn't be where I am today without it.
Thank you so much for making these opportunities at CSU possible for me. I wouldn't be here without you.
Your impact here at Cleveland State University does not go unnoticed. Not only are you giving to students to benefit their studies, you're giving them the confidence to pursue their degree.
I hope one day to be able to repay what you've done for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
CSU is committed to student success, helping students earn their degree in a timely manner and graduate with the knowledge and skills needed for their careers and lives. That commitment starts at the top with a man who has been CSU's president since June. Harlan Sand joined us after a very distinguished career, both in the military, 10 years in the Navy, a Medal Award winners there, as a public defender in Miami, and from various universities, including most recently the CEO of the Wharton School. We're really honored and pleased to have Harlan as our president, and I introduce him to you now.
Thank you, Barinthia, for that very kind introduction. It's really tough to follow our students, but it always reminds us of why we're here. It's all about them. It's a joy and a privilege to me to be joining you for our first scholarship luncheon together. It's my first one since I joined last June, so this is really me completing my first lap around campus. Thank you all for your generous support to student success. Your financial support is what being a world-class institution is all about, and we're only going to get better. Congratulations to all the students. The scholarships you hold recognize the hard work and dedication to earning your degree. We're very, very proud of you. And to your parents and family members, we share your pride in our great students. So here's what I've learned in my 9 months being here on campus with you. One, we are committed to providing access to a quality education at an affordable price, and we do it better than anyone else. Two, we're all about student success. It drives everything we do. It'll continue to drive everything we do, and it's a big part of why we ask you for your support. And three, we are uniquely situated here in Cleveland. We are the city is us. We're uniquely qualified to provide the connective link to jobs in the biggest growing area in Northeast Ohio, and employers love our students. They tell me all the time. So your support's making it happen. When you give, you're investing in all of us. 10 years ago, the cost of running CSU, the cost in running an operation at a university like this was about 40% covered by the state. It's now less than 30%. So everything that we don't raise ourselves, we have to gain through other sources, like tuition. So your scholarship support makes the dream of a college education come true for many of us. So we're hard at work to delivering the kinds of high-quality education that enable students to succeed. You might have heard in January that we are very strong partners in the Say Yes to Education program, where any graduate of the Cleveland Municipal School District will get a free education. We just received $5 million from Parker Hannafin to create a unique living learning community at CSU that's going to provide 2 years of free residence life for students from CMSD. That's the kind of gift that's transformational. You probably also heard we have a couple of new partnerships, advanced partnerships with our community colleges. They are our partners. It's our job to get students in the right pathway to a 4-year degree. So, as we come together today, I want to thank all of our trustees, current and former. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy your lunch, and I look forward to partnering with you as we move forward together. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, President Sands. And now it's time to eat. We will call you all together again after lunch so that we can, or perhaps during dessert, so that we can hear from Ted Laufik and from Amanda Pukanowski. So enjoy your lunch. So as is our custom, we want to hear from someone who has created a scholarship here. And I'm very pleased to introduce a guest who represents our many donors. That's Ted Laufik. Ted is the Chief Financial Officer and Chief Compliance Officer at Cyprian Partners. He is also a proud alumnus of CSU. He has 2 degrees, a Bachelor in Business Administration and an MBA from Armonte Ahuja College of Business. And he gives back to CSU through his membership on the College of Business Visiting Committee and through the generous creation of an endowed scholarship for business students. Please welcome Ted Laufik.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And in addition to my 2 degrees and the time that I spend on the visiting committee, I'm also a season ticket holder for the men's basketball team. So full disclosure. And it would be wonderful if we could get a lot more involvement out there, among the student body. All right, good. We believe in Coach Felton. So as Brinthia said, I'm a donor, and I also have received 2 degrees from the university. And when I think about Cleveland State, I can't imagine where my life would be without Cleveland State. I grew up in a modest home in an ethnically diverse neighborhood 5 blocks away. So as a child, I remember getting on my bike, riding down here, seeing some of the buildings which have become the campus. And I remember Fenn Tower, not being built, but existing. But Rhodes Tower, the library, the main classroom buildings, those are all being built when I was a young kid living on the Near East Side. I was blessed with a loving and nurturing family, although neither of my parents had gone to college. But they stressed education and how important it was. As a student in high school, I was decent in math and in science. So, thankfully I had counselors and teachers that pushed me into higher education. They thought, well, maybe engineering would be a good avenue. I was excited about this. I'd never thought about going to college. I mean, it wasn't we didn't discuss careers around my family. So I came with this enthusiasm and met with my mom and dad and said, I'd love to be, go to college and perhaps, work on an engineering degree. Unfortunately, fortunately, they were very enthusiastic. However, it was pretty clear that they couldn't help me financially. So I thought, well, if I continue to work and do whatever I can, I could pay for college and still go to Cleveland State or go to a school. And I looked around and I saw, well, Cleveland State has a great engineering school. Makes sense. I could live at home, I could work, I can pay for school. And that's what I did. I enrolled in the school. My life had to be a lot more flexible than maybe a number of non-traditional or traditional students. And I think what I found at Cleveland State is that this is a sea of non-traditional students. Not only did I get a great education and had administrators that were flexible with me. But I also realized that I was rubbing shoulders with people that were much older than me. And those people became my mentors. And I think that's one of the real values of this university is our diversity, and whether it's in ethnicities or ages, we all come together and we're all students. And the mentoring that I received during my time here was incredible. I mean, it actually, through those relationships, I moved from the engineering school to the business school. And actually, through that, I decided that I was going to pursue a degree in accounting, which I did. And I'm grateful for all of the teachers and administrators that had helped me through that process. But I'm especially thankful for the mentoring that I got from numbers of people, and people that I don't remember their names anymore, but were kind enough to help me along. So I got a great education, and CSU prepared me for a life in public accounting. So when I graduated, or I finished my last exam in December, 3 days later I started with a Big 8 accounting firm. It took me a little over 3 years to graduate because I went through the summers and I was determined to finish up. Now, we didn't have the campus that you see here today. I think almost all my classes were in the main classroom building. So it wasn't a lot of nightlife. And I'm glad to see that the campus has transitioned dramatically since then. You know, eventually I passed the CPA exam, and I thought I'd stay in public accounting, but I was intrigued by some of the entrepreneurship that I saw from a number of my clients. And at one point I finally decided to take a position with a client, but I realized that I wasn't ready for retooling in a new position. I was an accountant, and to be successful in that business, I needed to broaden my horizon. And so I decided that I was going to come back to school, and I entered into the MBA program. And I found coming back the second time, or coming back from my MBA, was significant. I mean, I was no longer worried about finding a job, but I was actually able to absorb the knowledge that I was getting and finding ways to apply that to my position. And I would say I was relatively successful at that. It also allowed me, understanding some of the classes that I had during my MBA program, some exposure to technology, and really prepared me for then my next career, which was a financial professional in the venture capital and private equity arena, which I've spent the last 35 years of my life. So why do I spend time? People ask me, you seem to be at Cleveland State more than you may have been when you were at school. And I said, well, it's simple. When we decided to move back to Cleveland full-time, moving back from the West Coast, giving back to the university was one of my priorities. I identified a few things that I wanted to do, but this was absolutely critical. And I think, as the president said, the incredible partnership between this city, which I have a tremendous passion for, and this university, which I share that passion with, has a partnership that is incredible. And we feed off of each other. I mean, the people that are educated here typically stay here, and to see that support is really incredible. So, and plus I'd like to thank, I know Dean Sanjay's here, I'd like to thank him for the opportunities that he affords me as a visiting committee member to continue to work and to serve this university. And in some respects, it's also serving the rest of the community. So thank you for allowing us to grow that way. So there's no doubt that my education here was transformative. It had an important impact on my life, my family. You know, I was an inner city kid, first generation college student, and I was able to get a degree. I was able to become a CPA, and then have a career that I'm very proud of. However, I never received a scholarship, but I am glad and pleased to be part of this program. I think what we're doing here is just fantastic. I mean, we are bridging the gap between our students who need our support and their dreams. And I really feel that. And if you're a donor here, I understand why you're doing what you do. It is rewarding to know the impact that we're having on students. And I want to leave you with one last story. When I met my scholarship recipient last year, we both had a lot of questions. We got to know each other pretty well. In one of our first meetings, he looked at me and he said, "Why did you form a scholarship?" And I said, "Well, I want to support students that are like you." And he sat back and he said, "I can't wait till I'm in a position that I could do that for someone else." And I thought to myself, if I didn't need a reason to do this, that solidified it. So I think on behalf of the professors, the faculty, the staff, you're doing a great job. I mean, not only are we producing great students, but we're also producing great citizens, and I commend you for that. There's no doubt in my mind that we'll continue on, and this continues to get bigger. And when I come into a meeting like this or an event like this, I'm proud of what this university is all about. And we started from very humble beginnings when I was here. To see this is truly a sense of pride for me. So congratulations to the recipients, and I know you'll continue to make us proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ted, for sharing your story. We were really appreciative. And now we're going to hear from our student, Amanda Pekanofsky. So I've known Amanda for a while. Amanda is majoring in English and minoring in communication, and she is going to graduate in May. She's a presidential student ambassador and has worked with us on many of our events, and she holds a Radiate Scholarship among many others. Amanda, please.
Good afternoon. As Berinthia stated, my name is Amanda Pekanofsky, and I'm a senior completing my bachelor's in English with a secondary education licensure. Next fall, I will be attending Baldwin-Wallace University to pursue a master's in leadership in higher education. And in exactly 53 days, I will be the first individual to receive a college diploma. But who's counting? While I'm enthusiastically looking forward to walking across the stage and shaking President Sands' hand, I cannot help but reflect about my time here at Cleveland State University, which has been made possible thanks to the generous support of donors. During my senior year of high school, I was excited to embark on the college search. I had spent countless months researching programs and visiting colleges. I thought I had everything figured out until my family and I received some unexpected news in July of 2015. The world seemed to stop when the doctors announced that my mom was diagnosed with cancer. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. But I knew I had to shift my priorities to support my family during this critical time. For approximately 8 months, my mom fought and beat cancer while undergoing over 40 operations at the Cleveland Clinic. It was truly a miracle that she was able to come home just as I was about to make one of the most important decisions of my life, where I would go to college. As a first-generation college student, I didn't have a clue how I would fund my education, especially after considering my family's extensive medical costs. Just when I thought I should start considering other post-secondary plans, did I receive the answer I was looking for in my award letter from Cleveland State University. Through a number of scholarships, I was able to join my peers as part of CSU's class of 2019. Over the past 4 years, I am so blessed for my opportunity here. I have balanced a rigorous academic course load with leadership opportunities that I consider an investment in my future. I have served the university in a variety of capacities and am grateful for my experiences as the president of Viking Expeditions and as a presidential student ambassador for the 1964 Society. I've also worked on campus as an orientation leader, a Camp Vike counselor, a peer mentor, and a success coach, to name a few. And most recently, I've had the privilege of teaching seniors at MC Squared STEM, a high school located on CSU's campus. Every day, I'm committed to making a difference in my students' lives. I see their potential, and I strive to share my Cleveland State story in hopes of inspiring them to consider the life-changing power of philanthropy. At this time, I would like to thank the Alumni Association for the opportunity to speak today, as well as the donors who've empowered me to pursue such a profoundly meaningful career as an educator. I would also like to thank Cleveland State University for my Radiant Scholarship, which has enabled me to complete my degree while reaffirming my purpose to instill a passion for service amongst others. Congratulations to our scholarship recipients and the class of 2019. Thank you.
Amanda, thank you very much for sharing your words. Amanda represents our terrific student body, and Amanda's story is one of many stories that I know are sitting around this room. I want to thank all of you for your support, not only for this event, but for our students and for Cleveland State University. We are sincerely appreciative, and we hope to see you again next year. Thank you very much.